Girl, come on. You're just mad that he's hot. He was like, yeah, she's my type to a T. Why do you think I lift heavy set? I have so many emotions. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel if you are new. If you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today I am doing a video that I feel like should not shock anyone. If you guys tuned into my previous monthly wrap up, which you definitely should, I mentioned how a lot of the books that I have been anticipating on their release, they've been coming out in the first quarter of 2026 and it's kind of been overwhelming. Just the fact that authors are putting out some of my most anticipated released books in the first quarter, that's a gift to me. But I'm a little overwhelmed. Like I wasn't expecting a lot of these. So I decided we're gonna do a little reading vlog today, catching up on all of the anticipated releases that have been specifically coming out within the past week, because there are two that came out the same day and I had no idea. And then one is an arc that I am so grateful to get. I got it through my job, but still, like the fact that I have this arc in my possession, I'm still gagged. But we'll get there when we get there, okay? The first book I really want to get started on in this video is the one and only In Her Own League by Liz Tom Ford. Now guys, I feel like I'm going insane because I've been hearing a lot of people pronounce her name as Liz Tom Fordy. If I've been pronouncing her name wrong this entire time, I'm literally gonna go find the closest mountain and jump off of it because that's so embarrassing. Liz Tom Ford, or Tom Fordy, released the latest book, and it's not technically a part of the Windy City series, but it's labeled as a spinoff. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, so this is following one of the characters' fathers, and he's a coach on the MLB team that Kai and Isaiah, characters from the previous books, are a part of. So I know of Monty, we all know of Monty. If we have read the Windy City series, we're familiar with this character. It's between him and his new boss, T. And I'm pretty sure there's an age gap because of course there is. And I have started a little bit, not that much as you can see. I got like maybe 2 chapters in last night before I was like, let me stop this, because I wanted to record my reactions to stuff and I wanted to make it a vlog. So here we go. This is what we're starting with today. This is also available on Kindle Unlimited, but I just felt like getting the physical copy. I don't have the other physical copies of the series because I just don't have room for it. But when I saw this in the store, I was like, you know what? I guess I'm a big baller because I purchased it, walked out, no thought in my head when I did so. We're just gonna spend a week together reading my most anticipated releases. Yippee-ki-yay. I'm so excited. So without further ado, let's get started.
A few moments later.
Okay guys, crazy idea, but what if I read a little bit outside? I don't know. Yesterday it was daylight savings time, which, not gonna lie, really messed up my sleep schedule. I woke up, thought I was in an alternate universe for a second, but on the bright side, there is an extra hour of light outside, which usually I don't really care about. Like, I'm not really the sunshine type of person. That makes me sound like a Grinch, but I don't really care for like the spring summer seasons. But it looks so pretty out and I just think it could be fun to read outside. The downer of this though is that my dad did not take out any of the patio furniture yet, because with Michigan, you know, like if it's gonna be sunny today, it might snow tomorrow, and then it might be a blizzard the next day, and then a snowstorm and a rainstorm. So there's no point of taking out the patio furniture. I don't blame him. So I might have to sit on the stairs, which is fine. But another thing is that I'm gonna have to probably end up reading on my Kindle for In Her Own League, because I get annoyed at the tiniest little things, such as the pages blowing in my book while I'm trying to read outside. It's like one of those minor inconveniences that's not that big of a deal, but it really annoys me. Like when I try to read outside and be like, oh, cool, mysterious, and then my pages are blowing and I'm trying to hold them down while the wind is going like 35 miles an hour. It's like ridiculous. So yeah, I think it's just more convenient to read on my Kindle. But yeah, I think that's gonna be the plan. I'm just gonna go read outside. Hi guys, we have now migrated inside to the den. Sorry, I'm just trying to like angle the camera. I don't usually film in the den because the lighting in here sucks. There's no overhead lighting, and then like there are windows, but there are trees blocking the window, so it doesn't get sunlight. I never film in here, but my brother is home from spring break, which means that he's gonna be yelling about video games and talking to people over the phone while yelling about video games. And I didn't want that to pick up over the microphone. Despite the terrible lighting, believe I'm saving you from the madness going on upstairs in his room. Anyway, I'm currently 15% into the book. Oh, I also have my dog with me because she just wanted to lay on my lap. Yeah, I am 15% into this book. You guys know I love Monty. This is not a secret. I've been extremely impatient waiting for this book since I finished Rewind It Back. Even before I started Rewind It Back, when it was announced that she was coming out with a Monty book, I was like, give it to me now. And let me just tell you, I'm so far not disappointed. Not far into the book, like I said, only 15%, but I feel like out of all of the books in the series, this one is moving the fastest. And I don't know if that's just like my perception of things, because obviously I'm kind of reading it a little bit fast because I just want to see how it ends. But I don't know, I just feel like the way that Emmett and the main character Reese, the FMC, the way that their relationship is developing, it's moving fast, but it's not unrealistic. The way that like workplace relationship books usually go for me, I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't know. I think I like this. I think it's just the fact that we also saw a glimpse of how their relationship goes and play along. Like we saw little pieces of how Reese and Emmett interact in that book. So I'm not really surprised by their dynamic. I think it makes sense, and I think the banter, it's amazing. I'm living for the banter. There was a scene where, oh wait, I don't know if I can say it. I don't want to spoil anything because it just came out. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but there's like this scene where Emmett and Reese are on the phone and it's like a business call, nothing personal is happening, but Reese has this thing where she tells Emmett like, don't tell me what to do, and Emmett stole her line. And I was like, ooh, I don't know, something about that made me giggle and kick my feet. And it was during a very like I said, business phone call, but there was low-key flirtation there. And I was like, I'm weak. I'm a weak woman. As far as the FMC goes, because I know I've been talking about Monty a lot, I don't know how to feel about her as a main character right now. I'm still trying to let her cook. Because I only saw glimpses of Reese in like one previous book, I don't really have a feel for her character yet. Whereas like with the other FMCs and the other Windy City books, you see glimpses of them in previous books leading up to their book. So like, I don't know, I just understood them better as characters. With her, I'm still trying to get a vibe, but I will say I empathize with her because being, I think they said like the first woman to own an MLB team and having all eyes on her as a woman. By the way, happy Women's History Month, and the other day it was International Women's Day, so yay women. What a timely book. What a timely release for a book. That's crazy. Yeah, every time like a man confronts her in this book, I get the ick, unless it's Monty. Like every man, minus like the 5 men we know in the previous books and Monty, they're all weird towards her. And I guess I should have expected that because it's the MLB, it's sports. Whenever women are involved in sports, the men don't take them seriously. So yeah, it's kind of a frustrating read when I read in her point of view because I really do empathize with her heavily, but like for her as a character, like outside of her situation, I don't know how to feel yet because she's making some decisions, I'm not gonna lie, that are just like, I don't really understand where you're coming from, especially when it comes to her dislike towards Monty. It just feels a little bit strange, especially because like Monty hasn't done anything. In my opinion, I don't think he's done anything. He's a coach that has been there for a long time, so everyone loves him, and I think that frustrates her because she doesn't get the same welcome, she doesn't get the same vibe as everyone else treats Monty. So like in that case, I kind of get it. Like she's kind of bitter about the fact that he's like the golden boy and she's like the new girl in this case scenario, and everyone's kind of treating her like shit because she is a woman. But yeah, the way that she feels about Monty, I'm like, girl, come on. You're just mad that he's hot. I would understand getting mad at everyone else, but Monty is like one of the few men in this like team that's on her side and outspokenly on her side, and yet. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading for the rest of the night. I'll update you guys tomorrow, but so far I'm really enjoying this book and I'm very happy that I am. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Tuesday. I'm treating myself to a cup of coffee and banana muffins that my coworker made, actually, and they are so good. I kind of wish I took more home with me. But anyway, hi. Hello. I'm so upset at myself, but I have a lot to update you guys about because I stayed up until like 2:30 a.m. reading. I feel like I do this once every reading vlog and it's not intentional. These aren't 24-hour reading challenges. I don't know why I feel like I have to race against the clock. I'm like 40% into In Her Own League, I think. Guys, I couldn't put this book down yesterday. Even when I tried to put it down and go back to sleep, I couldn't. I had to pick it back up again. Yeah, I'm on chapter 18. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very dark and gloomy outside, like I predicted yesterday. We can only have one day of sunshine like every other week in Michigan right now. So it's not like storming, but it's definitely gonna rain more later. This book, I feel like, dare I say, it has the best banter out of all the Windy City books. I would have to reread them to see. Oh, what a terrible feat. I would have to reread them to see. But I think that the banter between Monty and Reese has to be the best. I was like laughing out loud last night at some of their banter. It was actually hilarious. I think I've said it at least 10 times already in this video, but Monty, yeah, that's a good man. There was a chapter where like him and Reese were working out accidentally together. Like he was in the gym first, she came in, it got awkward, but he was like, stay if you want, I'm about to leave soon. And while she was there working out, minding her business, Monty was checking her out. He was like, no, I shouldn't. And there was like one part, I don't remember what it was word for word, but he was like, yeah, she's my type to a T. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but based off of the cover and her description, I'm pretty sure that Reese is like a plus size character. He was like, yeah, she's my type to a T. Why do you think I lift heavy set? And I was screaming. There were multiple chapters last night that I had to hold in my screams for because it was literally like 2 a.m. I never get those scenes on camera for you guys, but I swear, when I say I'm giggling, kicking my feet, I'm serious. Like imagine me in the dead of night in my silent house, holding in my screams and my giggles while I read a cute little, not even like sports romance, because it's not Monty that's playing the sport, he's the coach, but like it's so good. It's so good. And I stopped right before a smut scene because I was like, I know for a fact this is going to keep me up all night. By the time I woke up today, I probably would have finished the book. And I was like, no, Miranda, you can't do that to yourself, because I do have work later. Thank goodness I don't have like a morning shift. I don't need to go in until the afternoon. So I'm gonna try to read a little bit more this morning, but I couldn't do that to myself. I was like, you're gonna regret it. And hell, I even regret it now. I woke up so groggy this morning. I mean, granted, it's only 9:27, so like 9:30. Not too bad because I'm naturally a morning riser. I don't consider myself a morning person because I don't like to talk to people and have conversations in the morning. Like I'm not the cheeriest person, but I do like to wake up early in the morning just to get stuff done and out of the way so that I have the rest of the day to myself. I will say I noticed like the vibes of this book are different, and again, obviously it's a spin-off book. I should have expected that, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it earlier when I was explaining it to you guys. series, but I think the vibe is like my found family isn't here. Like the closest glimpse we see of the other characters from the Windy City series is like Isaiah and Kai, and that's because again Monty is their coach, or was Kai's coach. I think Kai is like his assistant coach or something now because he retired, but still you don't really get any glimpses of like the other couples. We might later in the book, but like right now I feel like that's what's missing, because you don't really see any like found family in this trope besides like what you have on Monty's side. Like for Reese, I'm noticing I don't think she has any friends. It's not funny, but like I don't ever see her talk to anyone outside of her granddad, and that's because her granddad was the one who gave her his position to lead this like baseball team or whatever. So I don't know, it's just like a weird dynamic right now when I'm so used to like the girls in other books having girl talk or like girl nights or whatever. Reese is just usually to herself, which she likes. There are many chapters where she's like, I like my alone time, I like being by myself, which is great. I don't know, I miss my family. Where are my other characters at? She did finally meet Miller, which I'm happy about, because Miller is literally Monty's daughter. I was like, when is that gonna happen? It happened like a few chapters ago, and Miller ships them so hard that I think that it's funny. Miller is one of the funniest characters in the whole entire series. She's like actually ridiculously funny, and the banter with her and Monty as like daughter and father, I loved their dynamic and Caught Up, so I'm glad that I get to see more of that in this book. It really does feel like this book is going by fast because there's no real, I don't know how to explain this. Like I feel like this feels like a short story even though it's 400 pages. I feel like everything's moving so fast, and like we just have no breaks. Every chapter there's an interaction between Reese and Monty, and it's building up to their relationship, which is what a romance book should do. I know, but I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, there was more like push and pull, I feel like, when it came to the other couples. With Monty and Reese, there's no push and pull here. There's literally no need for that. I feel like, not gonna lie, they kind of liked each other off the bat. Like sure, Reese didn't like Monty, but she liked Monty. She was just upset that everyone liked him. And then Monty, he's been attracted to Reese. So kind of off the bat, we were already relationship building, so maybe that's why it's going more fast for me. I don't know, if anyone else has read the Windy City series and finished this book, let me know your thoughts, because it just gives a different vibe. It also gives that like they're both grown adults, so like why beat around the bush? Especially Monty. Monty doesn't know what subtlety is. He's low-key been flirting with her since page 1. Even when he couldn't stand her, he's been flirting. But yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy my muffin. I'm gonna drink my coffee before it gets cold, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna try to talk to you before I head out for work, but we will see. Okay guys, I'm about to head out for work, and like nowhere near as soon as I needed to get ready. Like I'm just now looking at the time because I wanted to have some time to talk to you guys about the book, so I got ready really early, and now that I'm looking at the clock, I have a lot of time left before I need to go to work. That's new. I'm usually like running late. So it's a nice change of pace to be a little early on the clock. I've read a little bit more this morning. Guys, I'm almost 50% into this book, if you can believe it. It's a really fast read, and that's what I can appreciate about Liz Tom Ford's books, because I know people are kind of somewhat put off by her books because of how long they are. Like, she's kind of known for writing like really long romances, but I swear, like once you pick them up, I feel like they go by like that. Like, it never takes me longer than like a couple of days to read her books, and even that's pushing it. Like I said, I could probably finish this by the end of the day if I really committed myself, but because I have a job, I can't commit myself. But yeah, I'm really liking this. Like, none of my feelings have changed in the past few hours since I last updated you. Nothing. And this might be a stretch because I'm only like halfway through the book, but maybe might be my favorite book boyfriend in the Windy City universe. And that says a lot, because I didn't think anyone would be able to beat Isaiah or Xander. Like, just so you guys know, those are my favorites. I know a lot of people shit on Mile High for some reason. I love that book. I do not know why people are like, oh, the first book is the worst. Once you push past the first one, it gets so much better. That first one, Evan Sanders, my heart. And then, as you guys know, Play Along is, I think, the only book in the series I gave 5 stars. So, and that was mostly because of Isaiah Rhodes. And Kennedy, to be fair. Like, I think them as a couple just makes sense, so I liked their book overall the most. But something about Monty and Reese. I love a good forbidden relationship romance trope, and that goes hand in hand with boss employee. And I think I mentioned this like recently too, because it was when I was reading Real by Kennedy Ryan, and it also had like the tension of boss employee trope, because there's like obviously power dynamics. Specifically in this case scenario, it's interesting because again, since Reese is in a male dominated field, happy Women's History Month, since she's in a male dominated field, owning a sports team and being the boss essentially to a sports team and the business of it that's ran mostly by men, her position is weird because yes, she's the boss, and it would be weird for Monty to be in a relationship with her because of the power dynamic. It's weirder for her because she obviously has everything stacked against her as a woman being the boss, you know, so there's more scrutiny towards her than there would be on Monty, where I feel like in a different situation, like say for like, again, Kanan and Neva from Real, for example, it was opposite because Neva is Kanan's employee and she's like a new up and coming actress, and Kanan felt weird being in a relationship with her at first because he didn't want her talent to be overshadowed by the fact that she's with her boss. In this one, it's different because Monty has been coaching this team for like 10 years or something like that. He's like one of the people in like Chicago that everyone looks up to, like everyone knows of Monty, and so like everyone knows that he's well loved. There's nothing new about him. He's not a new coach. He's like, if anything, more senior than Reese. It's just the fact that, of course, because Reese is a woman, there are more eyes on her than him. And I feel like it's so interesting. I think this is a good romance for Monty specifically, because when I heard that we were getting a Monty romance and I knew it was going to be with Reese, I was like, how could that look like? Like I couldn't envision it, and so far I'm really enjoying it. Like I have no real notes to add. Remember how I said that there was a lot more push and pull in the other books compared to this one? I'm starting to feel the push and pull more as I go further into the book. Like I said, again, the boss employee dynamic, nothing about their relationship is straightforward. They have to walk a very fine line, even though at this point, like, they do know that they like each other, but they don't want to cross boundaries, like professional boundaries. So the push and pull in this one, it's so, because feelings are addressed, so they're just trying to like be subtle about it, and it's really, really fun. It's funny, I got my friend into this series like a few months ago. My friend Sydney, she came back home during a holiday break back in December, and she was asking me what book she should read just to like take her mind off of the fact that she's like studying to get a PhD. And I was like, well, you know, Windy City series, like it's a good like beach read, page turner, and they're fun and cute. And it's been her latest obsession for the past few months. Like, she has been spamming my phone, updating me every time she's finished a book, and she's about to get to Rio's book, but she's most excited for Monty's book. So I've been like sending her voice memos for the past like 2 days about my reading experience for this, and she's been texting me back feeling the most FOMO in the world. I love talking to my friends about books. It's like a great pastime. If only we weren't all so busy and we could have like somewhat of a book club about this, but it's fine. Also, I don't think I mentioned this yet. I love this cover. I do. I think it's really cute and it fits the vibe of the book. However, like I said, I'm thinking about owning all of these books one day when I have the room to own the whole entire 5-book series. I'm kind of thrown off how different this looks compared to all the other covers in the Windy City series. Like, it doesn't even look like it's a part of the same world. It looks like it's its own romance completely, even with like the updated covers, because I know that the indie covers, like, they're just like stock photos of Chicago and like basic font, but the updated covers are really cute and pretty, and I want those. But it kind of bothers me that they don't all go together. Like, I'm gonna insert pictures, like you'll see they all have the same vibe until you get to this one, and it's like, and again, I love this cover. I think it's really cute. I noticed that when I was at the bookstore buying it the other day, because I was like, if I'm gonna get the other series, I would like it if they all matched. Like, I wonder who in her creative team was like, yeah, That's the one. This is, yeah. It's just interesting to me. I don't know. I'm gonna try to get in as much reading as I can before I go, since now I know that I do have time to read before I head out. I'm really loving it so far, and I feel like I glaze Liz Tom Ford so hard in every single review I give of her books, but they really are that good. Like, I'm just telling you, if you want something to just take the edge off, like if you want an easy read, especially if you're like a romance reader, like these books are so easy to read, but they also have such like an emotional impact. Like, you feel for each of these characters, especially if you read the series in order, because you're following like the same group of friends for like 5, now 6 books, and it's just it really just pulls at your heartstrings how far each of them have come. I'm at a part in the book where I realized that I think this takes place in between Play Along and Rewind It Back. Like, it takes place between the 4th and 5th book in the series, because something was announced in this book that I was like, didn't we already know this information? But no, I don't think they did. I think this takes place between Play Along and Rewind It Back. I could be wrong though. Yeah, just being able to follow these characters and everything, it's just such a refreshing series, and definitely a palate cleanser. Like, I can see myself going back to these books after like a really rough read and just needing something to take the edge off. If you're looking for something like that, I highly recommend these books. They're so much fun. I'll let you guys know when I've gotten further in Her Own League. Hi guys, it is the next day. So I've made progress into In Her Own League. I'm like 65% into it, so I'm like very close. I have like that much left. I don't know if you can see past my receipt bookmark. I'm really gonna try to push to finish this today, because if I'm being honest, this book is not living up to the expectations that I wanted it to be, that I was hoping it would be. Remember how I said at the start of this that I thought that this would be more of a novella because of how fast-paced it's going, and I was wondering what the push and pull would be if they're already saying their feelings for each other in like the first 50 pages. Yeah, the push and pull, it's like the same argument over and over and over again. It's kind of reminding me of The X Dilemma, and the reasons why I didn't like that book, if you guys remember from my wrap up and my previous vlog. I just can't stand when like characters that are supposed to be grown, like mid-30s, early 40s type grown, are making like really immature decisions, and that's kind of what it's amounting to be in this book. Like, they're having the same argument about how they can't have each other, that though they want each other so bad, but they can't be together because it's unprofessional, and it's that like she's his boss, he's the employee, and it's like the same thing, and yet they keep on doing irresponsible shit, which is why I'm like, why can't we just figure this out? I feel like this would have been so much better if it was like maybe 100 pages less. The only other time I felt like this with the Liz Tom Ford book is probably in Caught Up, the 3rd book in the series. I haven't felt this way in a minute about her books, but I genuinely feel like if this book was going to do this type of thing, it should be a lot shorter, because the push and pull conflict of this book is just them constantly ignoring each other, or like cutting things off as soon as they sleep together, but then sleeping together again like 50 pages later. And it's like, okay, you keep saying you're gonna stay away from each other, and then you keep on pulling this stuff. And so each argument that they have just feels stale, because I experienced this argument at least 3 times, you know? So I'm like kind of holding out for like, at the very most, 3 to 3.5 stars maybe for this book. I don't know. I need to obviously finish the rest of it in order to give it its final rating, but it's looking like it's gonna get below 4 stars. It's fine. I like the characters. I just think that the overall like conflict of them saying yay or nay to a relationship is very ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand why it's important that they have like this conflict, obviously, because there's a stigma and there's nuance to a boss-employee relationship, power dynamics. I get it, but it's just like, I can't take y'all seriously if you're continuing to sleep together and flirt with each other out in the open, but yet you're so worried about people saying. It's like the strangest dynamic to me, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, please, no more. Also, I hate that it's repetitive in that sense, where it keeps on reminding us, like, no matter whose POV it is, this is dual POV. If we're in Risa's POV, she'll continue to say, oh, he's my employee, I can't. I'm his boss, I can't. And then if it's in Emmett or Monty's point of view, then it's like, I'm her employee, she's my boss, we can't be together. And it's like every chapter is like that. I get it. You don't need to spoon feed this information to me. I knew from like first page, first chapter, first 10 pages, first 100 pages, I get it. And now I'm like, how many pages in am I? Yeah, I'm on like page 260 and we're still talking about this. Like, I hate to compare the two, but because I did read Real by Kennedy Ryan a month ago, it's like the most recent like book with this trope that I've read. I was hoping that it would follow more of that book's way of doing this type of trope, where it would be more of a secret relationship, if anything else. Like, I would hope that they would have just like gotten together by now and just kept it a secret behind closed doors, but instead they're doing like this thing where they keep on confirming the fact that they do have feelings, acknowledging that they have feelings, damn near sleeping together, but yet they're not really in a relationship. It's just like them constantly going back and forth and arguing about it, and it's just really annoying to me. I don't know. I'll give my final thoughts about it when I am done with the book, but that's sadly how I'm feeling right now. I was hoping that I would love this book because I love Monty, and if I'm being honest, I really like Reese's character, but I just feel like them and their relationship, not even their relationship, the way that they're going about trying to be in a relationship while not being in one is just really strange. Monty is like grown. He's like in his 40s and she is in, I want to say, her mid to late 30s, so the age gap isn't that big. They are both fully grown adults, and I just thought that, I don't know, because of how much older they are, especially compared to like the other Windy City characters, they would have gone about this a bit differently. At least in my head, that's how I would look at it, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the rest of the night reading, and then hopefully by tomorrow I can actually start another book, because I have been locked in on this book for like the past couple of days, and I haven't had much time to read the past 2 days because I've been so busy with work stuff. Not to fret, I have the day off tomorrow, so I can do nothing except read. I'll talk to you guys when In Her Own League is finished. Roller coaster this book was. I wanted to save the epilogue chapters for today. I could have easily finished this last night, but I was like, no, I feel it's like a bittersweet experience reading this because I really don't want my journey with all of these characters to end, and this is essentially the final wrap-up of everyone's stories, so I just wanted to drag it out a little bit. So I saved the epilogue for today, and wow, I have so many emotions. I will say, like, as soon as I turned off my camera, all of those critiques that I made before and things that I wish were happening in the book started happening near like the 75-80% mark. So I'm like really trying to decide what I want to rate this book, because if I were to base it off of like the first 30% and the last 30%, amazing book. Like great. But then if you were to just leave me with like the middle 40% left, I'd be like, I just really feel like this book was good when it was good, but then it got boring at times or frustrating because again, the conflict between the characters is just so much back and forth from two people who are too grown to be doing this back and forth. Like, it was just making me really frustrated. But then, like, I don't know, the last 30% made me forget about everything that I was frustrated with before. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to think on it, but I really did enjoy this book. I think Reese and Monty match each other so well in every way. They're such a cute couple, and it's just two people who were meant to find each other later in life. They chose each other, and it was just a really good story. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know what I'm gonna rate it. I do think I stand by the fact that like the most I'd give this book is around like 3 stars, like maybe 3.5, 3.75, but it's not getting like 4 stars or anything like that because I think this was genuinely the most frustrated I've been at any of Liz Tom Ford's books in the series. It's just not, it's something about like the way that the story dragged just was not like computing to my brain. It wasn't clocking to me. So yeah, that was In Her Own League. Now for the rest of the day. I got a very late start to the day. I did not wake up until like around 10, and that's late for me on my days off. I usually like to wake up early. I think you guys know this, but daylight savings time has really been tricking me. So like I feel like my body needed to get more sleep than it thought it did, and so when I woke up I really did feel a lot more energized than I have been in the past few days. So with this energy, I'm thinking, one, I need to eat breakfast. I ordered me and my mom some food that is here, so I'm gonna go eat that, and then when I'm done we could talk about what I can read next because guys, I'm gonna talk to you about it later, but I have a lot more options than I thought I did because I forgot books that released this week, the week that I'm making this video, and now I'm just trying to get my mind together. So yeah, let me go eat, drink the rest of my coffee, and I'll meet you back upstairs in my room. Guys, it is a lot later. It's like around what, 1:30? Yeah, we're gonna spend the rest of the day reading now. I swear. We're gonna get started on a new book. What that book is, I have no idea. I'm very overwhelmed. I think I touched on this briefly before I went to go eat, but I have an arc of a book that is one of my, if not my most anticipated release of the year, and the fact that I have this are crazy. So I do want to read it. However, there are 2 books that came out on Kindle Unlimited today that I totally forgot about, went over my head completely, and now I'm just trying to decide what I want to read. So let's look at all of our options, all right? The first book is the physical arc that I have of The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham. I actually got this arc a month ago, believe it or not, which means that yes, I have started it. I started it at the beginning of February, and I got like this far into it before I decided to just take a break because I realized that I just wasn't in the mood for it, and I am a mood reader to my core, as you guys know. So I didn't want to read this book that I was anticipating so much and not be in the mood for it, because then that would obviously like skew my view of the book, how I feel about it. I think I am finally in the mood to finish this though. I'm nowhere close to finishing it, as you saw, but I think I could easily get through this book in like a day, especially since I have the day off today. Nothing's really stopping me. I could finish this book today, but we're gonna have to talk about our other options. The other 2 books I have are both on Kindle Unlimited. The first one is The Close-Up by Kennedy Ryan. This is actually a novella for her Hollywood Renaissance series, the book that Real is in, if you guys remember. This is like an in-between novella that she, I guess, released like a year or 2 ago, but is now officially published and got like redone a little bit. I have not read it. I'm very excited to. You guys know that I really enjoyed Real, and I'm very excited for the sequel to come out in a few months, but I think this will hold me over hopefully until the sequel. I also know that this is kind of also a Hoop series novella. I think this follows like a basketball player from the Hoop series and one of the side characters from Real. I know that this is a fairly short book, so I could also get through this today. I don't know. Next book is one that I honestly didn't know that this was a thing until like, I want to say a month ago, because I was anticipating this author's other release in the summer, not knowing that they had a spring release as well. So let's talk about Deanna Gray's They Would Not Dare, or They Wouldn't Dare. I know nothing about this book other than I think it's enemies to lovers. I don't really know anything else. You guys know me. Those are two auto-buy authors. So I feel obligated to read those, even though neither of them were really on my radar before like a couple of weeks ago. Meanwhile, this book has been on my radar for about like the past year. You guys know I'm a really big fan of Cindy Pham. I've been watching her YouTube videos for years, and I've been kind of hearing her talk about her process of making this book and publishing it and writing it on her YouTube channel. So something about like actually being able to hold this in my hand and being able to actually read it is crazy to me. But it's also just the simple fact that I've already started this book and I'm in the middle of it. So I feel like I definitely should continue on with this book today. So I think that is what I'm gonna do. But also I feel like if I want to take a few breaks in between, I could easily pick up one of the other books on KU that I have. Well, this is technically an arc, but these are all books that have pretty much come out in the past like week or two. That includes In Her Own League. Do you see what I'm saying about like all of my favorite books, my most anticipated books coming out so close together? It makes it so hard to read books on my physical TBR, guys. I'm not gonna lie. When I have like so many books that I've been excited for like constantly coming out, it like shields me away from the books I already have on my shelves. But that's a conversation for a different day. Yeah, I'm gonna get started. Well, I guess I'm gonna continue The Secret World of Briar Rose. If you guys don't know what this is about, because I just realized I didn't explain this book at all. From what I remember, this book is a queer Sleeping Beauty retelling. This book is set in the land of Gildan, which is going through a really bad invasion and poverty. Like there's no one in this land that's really doing all that great. This land is kind of centered around like fairy tales of what happened 100 years prior that has made it this way in the present timeline. So back 100 years ago, it was said the last heir of Gildan, the princess, went into an eternal sleep and doomed the kingdom forever, which is why it is like the way it is today. Corin and Ellie live in this world. They are two sisters, and Ellie is a believer of this fairy tale while Corin is not. Corin does not believe in this eternal sleeping princess, does not really believe in the magic that it will take for this princess to sleep forever. But her sister Ellie is not only a fan of these fairy tales, but genuinely believes that they are true. And so one day when Ellie goes missing, Corin goes to find her just to enter into some type of castle that you could assume was there during like the golden age of Gildan 100 years prior. And while she's there, she sees this princess that is sleeping, and she realizes that her sister somehow might have gotten into this princess's subconscious and is in the world that the princess has in her brain. And she falls into that world and finds her sister, but now they are stuck trying to figure out really what's going on with the princess, why she's sleeping there. And along the way, they do meet this woman named Briar Rose and this, I want to say Maleficent, but the character's name isn't Maleficent, but because it's based off of Sleeping Beauty, you can guess. Malicene. Yeah, so Briar Rose and Malicene. The goal is to just figure out what the heck is going on. Corin thinks she's in a fever dream. Ellie thinks that there is definitely a way to wake up the princess, and both of them are on different missions. Corin wants to escape, and Ellie is just trying to help the princess wake up. I did not get that far into the book. I'm only on chapter 19, which is like pretty far, but not far enough to the story where I honestly feel like things are picking up. This is kind of a slow moving story in my opinion, so I really have to like focus in on what's going on and pay attention. Don't get me wrong, like a lot has happened. I'm only like 100 and something, 150 pages in. A lot has happened to get to the point where I'm at that I told you, but I feel like nothing is really happening story wise, if I'm being honest. Like I stopped around the part where like the world and stuff was getting explained, the world of Briar Rose, and meeting these new characters, Malicene and the princess whose name is Amelia. that's where the point where I stopped. And so now I think I'm ready to continue on with the book. I am very excited about it. I can't stress this enough. I talked about this before, but the cover of this book is so gorgeous. Like I'm in shock. Each chapter you get a picture of either her or Corin, or when they switch off between lands in the Briar Rose world. It's really cool. Very pretty. Like I can tell that when this book comes out, the special editions of it are gonna go so hard. I'm so excited. This doesn't come out until June, so I do have a lot of time to read this, but I honestly don't want to push it off more than I already have. The fact that I didn't like consume this book already and review it, there's something wrong here. So yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, let's get to reading. This book, despite the cover and what the cover looks like, is so emo, guys. I did not talk about this when I was explaining what the book was about, but we're following the two characters, like I said, Corin and Princess Amelia, and seeing how their stories parallel each other, specifically with like mental illness and mental health as like the overall concept, I think, of this story. It just makes me so like, ugh. With this, it's emo in the sense where like none of the characters are doing okay mentally and they're all going through it, and it's all just very sad. Like there's no sugarcoating it at all, and it's not even like to make light-hearted jokes at it. I'm actually really enjoying that part of the book. It's just you see Princess Amelia in her timeline 100 years ago, so we're following dual POV in two separate timelines, and the stuff that she is going through, like she's so disassociated from everything going on in her life. She has like this curse that's put upon her that is gonna make her sleep forever, and she's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm doomed. Let's smell the roses. And her dad won't even let her smell the fucking roses. It's like, oh my god. And then like she's married to, well, betrothed to like this asshole guy. Like reading in her point of view, I do think it's my favorite POV to read from between the two of them in this book, but it is so sad. Like it makes sense as to why she would do everything in her power to get trapped in her sleep and in her own subconscious and hide away from the world forever. Like the more you read about her and her feelings, it just makes so much sense. And again, it parallels how Corin is feeling in the present timeline when there's a war going on and she's the only person who can take care of her sister, but because of her upbringing and the loss that she has had over the years, she just has such a pessimistic way of life and the way that she views life. Like she doesn't see the good in nearly anyone or anything. She's just living to live and to make sure that her sister is okay, but she's not doing all that great mentally either. So it's really just a story about two mentally ill girls not really knowing what to do with a world that doesn't really care about them, that doesn't fight for them, and it's just really fucking tragic. I don't know, like I'm really sad, but it's going well. I will say, this is me being so honest, if it weren't for Cindy Pham, I don't think I would read a book like this, simply because I'm not into portal fantasy. I've discovered that about myself, I think last year when I read the Wayward Children's book by Shauna Maguire. It was like the first book in the Wayward Children series, which is also portal fantasy. And then I also read Alice in Wonderland around that same time, and I read that book for the first time. I've never read Alice in Wonderland before, though I have seen the movies and stuff. I just don't think portal fantasy is my thing, and this is kind of the same concept of it. I don't think it's my cup of tea, but the story itself is very interesting to me that I am willing to go along for the ride. I will say it's very slow moving in my opinion. There's nothing to really look out for in terms of like plot so far other than just the vibes. Like the vibes of the book are very whimsical, and the writing is kind of flowery, which I wasn't expecting. Granted, I don't really know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting this. I don't know. It's something that I really had to figure out my feelings about, like especially in like the first 100 pages when I read it a month ago. I was like, I can't really tell if I'm enjoying this or not, but I think I am, and I think it's mainly because of the characters. The story itself, I don't really know how to feel about, but I'm really attached to these characters already, and that's a good thing, because you guys know I love good like character driven stories, and a character for me can make or break if I like a book or not. So on to the next chapter. Yo, remember when I said I'd be able to finish this book in one day? Aren't I a comedian? Like, am I not funny? I'm now at the halfway part. Well, it doesn't look like it. I don't know. This book is like 400 pages, and yet it doesn't look like I'm halfway in it, but I am. Like I touched on earlier, this book is really heavy. Really fucking sad. I just finished a really long chapter. Mind you, I think it was like 20 pages, and I'm not usually a fan of long chapters. I actually despise them because it makes me feel like I'm making no real progress in my reading of the book. It just feels like I'm stuck in the same area for a long time. But that chapter, I was on the verge of tears. I'm not in the right headspace to read a book this heavy. It's not that graphic, and it's not explicit by any means. Again, it's a YA book, but it just reminds me of how much like a kid's book can pull at your heartstrings, you know? Like it's so I don't know what to say because I don't want to give away anything. At this point in the book, I finally gotten to the part where the main character Corin kind of reflects on how she and her sister got to this place to begin with, like how her sister ended up running away from her and them landing in this dream realm state. And I will say, like, I think I mentioned this before, I do enjoy Princess Amelia's POV more than Corin's, but it's not because I like either character more. It's just because I feel like Princess Amelia's point of views are easier to follow. Like they take place in the real world 100 years before all of the events in this book take place. And so I feel like I can follow the story trajectory a lot better. The flow of it feels very straightforward. And I don't know what that says about me and how I read and my reading taste, but it is true. Like I think that's why I can kind of digest her point of views a lot better than Corin's, because in Corin's, again, we're in the present timeline and she's in this dream world that was made by Princess Amelia, and because it's a dream, it's very hard for me to follow what is a dream, what's a flashback or a memory from like the real world, and what is like basically what's real and what's not. It's very hard, and like it's not like it's depicted in a way that's easy to really follow. Like one minute they'll be having like a real in-life discussion, and then the next Corin could be having like a really dark moment or like reflecting on a really dark memory from her past, and then like the dream becomes reality or what. Like it's very hard to explain because I don't really know how to imagine it. I don't really know how to picture this dream world because it's all very trippy. The world itself sounds beautiful. I just, whenever it's described in a way where it's actually relating back to the characters and their stories, I'm just very lost in the sauce. Like despite all of that, like I said, this chapter that I just read, though, like I was still trying to figure out what exactly was a flashback and what was exactly happening in the dream itself. Like I said, I'm very invested in these characters. Like I'm emotionally there. I was so close to crying. I was like, well, I don't have tissues. I was looking around my room and I was like, I wasn't prepared for this. And because of that, I think I do have to take a break on this book, which is sick and twisted because I literally just picked it back up. But whenever I cry, my head starts to hurt, and I can't read if my head is hurting. Like that's just not something I'm able to do. I'm sure it is. I just don't want to push through that pain in order to read. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna put the book down. I'm really enjoying it. I just don't really know if I'm ever gonna be in the right headspace to read it, because at first, when I first picked up this book back in February, I was like, maybe I'm just not in the mood to read it. I don't think I'm ever in the mood to read something like this sad. Like usually there are happy moments in between like the fantasies I read. So far the first half of this book has just been like punch to the stomach, an uppercut, like a black guy. It's like I can't really get a break. Everyone is going through it, specifically the main two characters, and because I'm reading in their point of views, it's a lot. It's a lot, and because of that, I think later on when my headache is gone, I think I'm going to start Close Up by Kennedy Ryan. I will be probably finishing this book, but not in this video. Like, I'm going to spend the rest of my week taking my time and trying to get through this book, but I don't think I can sit here and read it all in one sitting. I mean, I could, but I don't think I really want to do that. The next book I'm going to pick up is quick and easy read, The Close Up by Kennedy Ryan. I already explained this book earlier, and because I know who it's about and the world it takes place in, I'm very excited. But that probably won't get started until like right before I go to bed. I feel like I'll probably start that like after I take a shower and I'm about to like nod off. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Hi everyone, it is the next day. It is Friday. It is the last day of this vlog. It's been such a long day. It's been such a long week, if I'm being honest, guys. So sorry if I didn't get as much reading done as you expected from this vlog. Trust me, I expected more too. But with that being said, I just got back home from work and I am willing to read for like another hour or two before I officially close out. I hate that I did that, oh my god. I'm willing to read another hour before I officially close out this video. I've been reading a little bit today while I was at work. Again, it's been very busy, hectic, kind of tiring week, so I get in little moments of reading when I can, but it's been very scarce, okay, the past few days. But I continued reading The Close Up by Kennedy Ryan. I started it last night, stayed up reading it again to my own downfall. Don't we just love when I do this? It's so fun. Ended up getting to about like 20% last night, and then I read more today and I got to 40%. Again, this book is really short. It's a novella. I think it's like less than 200 pages. So quick, easy, fast-paced. I am enjoying it so far. I'm not gonna lie, I've been told that I don't need to read the Hoop series in order to read this. I feel like there's a lot of Hoop series lore that I'm missing out of by just jumping into this novella, but this novella is labeled a Hollywood Renaissance novella. What's the truth? It makes me more excited to read the Hoop series, because again, that's like the one series by Kennedy Ryan that everyone talks about that I just haven't read yet. So getting to see like the characters and get a lot of like low-key info dump about their lore, so much fun. But because of that, I'm just having a little bit of like a rocky time because it's like so many characters are getting introduced to me. It would be probably a lot more fun if you have read that series and you get to see these characters, because it takes place after the Hoop series is complete, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure if you've read those books you would have a good time with this, because like those characters are all up in this book. But as someone who does not know those characters, I'm not computing at all. But so far the couple that we're following, Takira and Naz, his name is Naz, I don't know why I said it like that. They are, I don't know what to make of it because this book is so short. It's kind of giving love at first sight or like first love, but I don't even know if you could call that, because their meet cute was so cute and innocent and sweet because they met when they were teenagers and they're reconnecting in their adult age. But there's been like so much going on, like the baggage between them. I don't know. I really want to know how this wraps up in like a novella this short, because when it's explained the way it's being explained to me, I'm like, for this to be less than 200 pages is a little bit crazy. Like I'm gonna need Kennedy Ryan to reel it in. I believe in her. I feel like she can do it. It's just like crazy to me because the fact that I'm like almost halfway into this book, wild. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna read some more. I didn't get any further into The Secret World of Briar Rose. I really do think that's a book I'm gonna have to pick up when I'm in a specific mood for it throughout the month. It's not that I'm not liking the story or I'm not invested in it. I just really that book can send me into an emotional down spiral really quickly if I'm not too careful. So I'm gonna like read it throughout the month of March and hopefully finish it. Hopefully. Right now for the rest of this reading vlog, I'm just gonna focus on reading The Close Up. I have been told that food has been ordered. I think my dad ordered food to be delivered to the house. So when the food gets here, that's when I will stop reading, whenever that's gonna be. I will be back with my final update and then I will close out the video. Alright guys, my food is officially here, which means it is time to close out this vlog. I have been reading the whole entire time, okay? I am a little past 50% into the close-up, I think. Oh, I'm near 60%. I'm actually 56% into the close-up. And I do think I'm probably gonna end up finishing this tonight because it is that quick to get through. But I am enjoying it. I also can't get over how pretty this cover is. Like, I'm gonna insert it right here, but like, guys, I think this might be her best cover, and it's for a novella. I read the author's note before I started the book, and Kennedy Ryan notes this as like her spiciest book yet. And I'm not gonna lie, up until this point in the book, I was confused because I didn't really see that much smut. Like, we started out the book smutty, quote unquote, but nothing really crazy, okay? And at this point in the book, there's still not much going on in that department, so I'm expecting the last 40% of this like 200-page novella to get a little bit crazy, which could be fun. I don't know, but I guess I'll have to wait and find out. But sadly, like I said, this is the end of the vlog. I hope that you guys did enjoy watching me read my most anticipated releases this week, trying to get through the ones that have come out recently. And I still did not get through like half of them. That's like crazy. Yeah, expect a really good reading wrap up at the end of this month because I really do think I'm gonna enjoy a lot of the books that have been coming out in March. Spring is usually filled with some of my most anticipated releases. Like, this is like a yearly thing that has been happening. It's like a ritual at this point, so I'm not surprised by the amount of books that I have to read this month or want to read, but it is just, I feel like I'm getting fed and it's really good for me. So I can't wait to let you guys know my thoughts on everything I've read. But until then, that will be the end of this video. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, it'll all be linked down in the description below. Let me know if any books that you've been anticipating have come out within like the first 3 months of the year. Let me know what those books are. Let me know your thoughts on this video down below. And yeah, I think that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.